Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It's Palestine here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you got to see the eclipse last night if you're living in the UK. So, we had an eclipse last night, and my boyfriend and I and my Sikh friend, we all went outside to look at the eclipse because I wanted to do that. I wanted us to be a part making the history of this planet. And the eclipse is something that, excuse me, that we could be a part of. So I wanted us, all three of us, to go outside and watch the eclipse, which is what we did. We didn't have any eclipse glasses because I got so many problems already. I didn't know about the eclipse until like one day this week. And it would have been too late for me to order any eclipse glasses. But I had heard that you could take a piece of cardboard and poke a hole in the cardboard and you could see the eclipse. You could see the eclipse on the shadow. So what we did was, just by chance, I found some cardboard yesterday on my way to work. And so my boyfriend poked a hole in the cardboard. He held the cardboard up so it shone against the wall of the apartment building where we live, and you actually could see the eclipse. You could see that the moon was moving in front of the sun, and it was making a crescent shape because it wasn't a total eclipse. It was only 95% eclipse, but we did get to see that, and we did get to be a part of history, and some people are really into eclipses, especially if it's a total eclipse, and they'll travel all over the world just to see eclipses. And if they've got the money to do it, which I don't have the money to travel to see an eclipse, but the eclipse came to my town, so we saw the eclipse. And I think in Spain it was almost a total eclipse, and so if you happen to be in Spain, then you could see more of an eclipse than what we were seeing in the UK. And then in addition to that, and I think in about a month's time, there's going to be another eclipse. So if you happen to be in Spain, you can see that other eclipse in about a month's time. The last time that we had an eclipse like this come to the UK was in 1999. And I remember that eclipse. I remember that I had eclipse glasses. I don't know where I got them from. I didn't know if someone gave me the eclipse glasses. So I think someone gave me the eclipse glasses to wear, and there's actually a picture of me watching the eclipse in these eclipse glasses. And the thing is that I was 27 years younger than I am now, so I look much better than I do now, or that's what I think anyway. So 27 years ago in 1999, I watched history in the making by watching the eclipse come to Bramley, UK, because I was working for a company called Snap-on Tools, and I was in Bramley. So the eclipse came to Bramley, and I got to see that with the eclipse glasses. And 27 years later, in 2026, I get to watch an eclipse again. The next time that an eclipse like this is coming to the UK is going to be in 50 years time, and so I don't think I'm going to be alive in 50 years time, so I don't think I'm going to see the next eclipse, So we saw the eclipse, and then after eclipse, my Sikh friend went home because there's friction between my boyfriend and my Sikh friend. And that's causing me a great deal of stress because I don't want that. I want all three of us to be friends, and looks like that's not going to be possible. And So that's causing me a lot of distress, and so I'm just trying to cope with that. And then um after I wash my hair, because I'm having to wash my hair every 2 days now because it's so hot that I just get drenched in sweat. So I have to wash my hair at least every 2 days to get all the sweat out. It's going to be particularly hot today. It's going to be, I think, like 37 or 38 degrees. So it's going to be really hot today. I'll probably, if it's that hot, I'll probably have to wash my hair again tonight to get all of the sweat out of my hair. And it's just past 9 o'clock while I'm making this video, and my hair is already sweating. It's already hot. In the UK, it's generally a cold country, and in the UK, the houses don't generally have air conditioning. Some of the businesses have air conditioning, but the houses don't have air conditioning. And where I work, there's no air conditioning. So, so I washed my hair and I phoned my mother, which is the reason for this video. So I phoned my mother, asked her how she's doing, because I pay £6.50 a month. And then I pay £6.50 a month to talk to my mother for 100 minutes a month. So obviously I can't talk to her for a long time because I don't have the money. And then really, truly, I think that my stepdad pays most of the bills. But truly, if my mom really wanted to talk to me, she could ring her internet service provider or her phone service provider and say that she wanted to ring the UK. And I'm sure they have a special deal where she could ring the UK and she could ask my stepdad to pay for it. But she's not that interested in talking to me. I mean, I talk to her. I mean, I could talk to her for free if she was on Facebook Messenger. That's another issue that I'm not going to go into in this video. I've gone into it in previous videos. So if you want to know why my mother can't get Facebook on her iPhone, you can watch my previous videos. Because this video, I'm just going to give you a health update. So I asked my mother how she was doing. She said she's got a UTI. And so her friend took her to the doctor, and the doctor prescribed her some antibiotics for the UTI, which is really interesting because I asked my mom, were they going to give her penicillin? And she said, no, she can't have penicillin because she's allergic. So I can't have penicillin either because I'm allergic too. So that's two things that we have in common. And so basically, the reason why I'm making this video about the UTI is because UTIs are very dangerous for elderly people. And the reason why is because UTI in an elderly person seems to me, from what I've read on Google, is different from a UTI on a younger person. And so it's harder to diagnose. And then what happens is a UTI can go up into the kidneys and give you a kidney infection. And my mom already had a kidney infection. So she was taking these antibiotics for the kidney infection. And I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if these antibiotics ever cleared up her kidney infection to begin with, because we never got to the bottom of that, because then she had a stroke and fell, and then that needed to be dealt with. So I don't know if that kidney infection was ever cleared up. But now she's got a UTI. A UTI can go up into the kidneys and give you a kidney infection, which is what she's already had. And then in addition to that, and a UTI is a urinary tract infection, if you don't know that. And then I looked it up on Google because I knew that UTIs are very serious for older people. Google said that a UTI can give you sepsis. Well, that's bad. Sepsis is bad. I've had sepsis. And I had sepsis before I made this channel. I had sepsis after COVID, because a year or two after COVID, because I had something called quinsy. And so because I had this quinsy, and then they gave me intravenous antibiotics, and then I had to have an operation where they took out one of my tonsils and they drained an abscess. Then I got sepsis. And so the thing about sepsis is, if you get sepsis once, you can get it again. So since I've had sepsis once before, I can also get it again. So if I get any kind of problems or an infection or something like that, I personally go to the minor injuries unit at the hospital. And the reason for that is because I'm diabetic, so I'm very prone to infections. And I've had sepsis, and I don't want it to be sepsis again. Sepsis is bad news. And then so I just told my mother that UTIs are very dangerous for older people, and I didn't go into all the details, but it is very dangerous. She could get sepsis, or the UTI could go up into her kidneys, which she's already had a kidney infection. And so basically, I was looking at Hospice Nurse Julie, because Hospice Nurse Julie has a YouTube channel, and she says that UTI is something that older people get that can bring about the end. And the reason for that is because older people don't have reserves. So younger people might be able to fight off a UTI, but older people, they do not have the reserve capacity to actually fight off a UTI. And that's why UTIs are very dangerous. And so I told my mom about Hospice Nurse Julie, but my mom doesn't watch YouTube. She watches TV, but she doesn't watch YouTube. So she wouldn't know how to get into Hospice Nurse Julie's account. And I don't watch Hospice Nurse Julie again a lot, but because she had this one video about illnesses for older people, I just thought, oh, I'll watch that. So I did watch it. And so UTIs are bad news for older people. And I told my mom that. And so I hope she recovers from this UTI. But basically, I think that her body is just breaking down because she had a stroke and she fell and broke her neck. She was in the hospital a few months for that and rehab. And then she was recovering from that. And then a few weeks ago, she fell again. And my stepdad couldn't get her up, so he had to phone somebody to get her up. And now she's got a UTI. And so my stepdad, even though he's in his late 80s, he can still drive. So apparently my stepdad had to go to the pharmacy to get these antibiotics for my mother. And I don't think it's a suitable situation for my mom to be living where she's living. This is just what I think. This is my personal opinion. I think she needs to sell everything and move into a retirement community, sheltered living, so that when she has these problems, there'll be people available to help her. But she doesn't want to do that. She wants to live in that house, and it is a big house. If I gave you the address, you could Google it on Google Maps, and you could see that she lives in a really big house with a house on the bottom of the hill, which she owns, and then I think a house to the side of that, which she owns too, and then a small little house that she had her beauty shop in that she can't use anymore because she can't work anymore, and what used to be a garage that she turned into a music room behind that, and then behind that is another garage thing where she stores things. So basically she would need to sell everything. They would have to do a house clearance. I don't know how much money she would get for a house clearance, but she would need to sell everything and move into a retirement community that has sheltered living, because she can't keep on relying on people to come pick her up when she falls and rely on people to take her to the doctor. So she's relying on this friend of hers who's a couple of years younger than my sister and myself, and I'm sure she's made some kind of arrangement with that friend that when she does die, she's going to get something. I think, I don't think I'm going to get anything when she dies because of the way she treated me. And if you watch my previous videos, you know that my mom didn't want children. I mean, yeah, now that I'm an adult, now she says she loves me and stuff, but she never said she loved me when I was a child. So that's it, you know. So now that my mom is old and decrepit, she wants a relationship with me, but not that bad. She doesn't want a relationship with me bad enough to where she would phone me up and talk to me. She doesn't want a relationship with me that bad. But yeah, she will. She'll, you know, she'll talk to me on the phone if I phone her. She'll do that. So I think that concludes this video. I told you about the eclipse, and I told you about my mother's UTI. I hope that she improves from the UTI. I hope she's able to overcome this UTI. Another thing that she said was she's borderline diabetic, which they've been telling her she was borderline diabetic for a while. I'm not borderline diabetic. I'm full-blown diabetic. And so these people giving her food, that's definitely not going to help her diabetes, because, you know, diabetes is weight related. It's also hormone related, because I was speaking to this one lady on a Google Meet, and she said that diabetes is diet related. That's not necessarily true. Diabetes is also hormone related, because when women stop producing estrogen, then their blood sugar goes up. Then they can get diabetes. So it's not just diet related. It's partly diet related, but it's also hormone related. And that's why women can get like geriatric diabetes. And they get geriatric diabetes because they've stopped producing estrogen. Because they stopped producing estrogen, their blood sugar has gone up, and this has caused them to be diabetic. So diabetes isn't just about the diet. And people will say that, and it's partly true, but it's not totally true. So that's it. That's an update on my mother's health, and that's why I wanted to make this video, was to update you on my mother's health, because some of you are interested in how my mother's doing. And yeah, she lived through that stroke and broken neck, but then she fell and hurt herself again, and now she's got a UTI. So I hope she recovers. But I think the problem is that her body is just breaking down. So that's it for this video. If you like my video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video and taking an interest in my very pathetic life.